First and foremost, I want to thank you, the listener, for taking the time to listen to us talk about video games today. And it wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Anchor. Anchor is a great platform to make podcasts, and here's what's great about it. If you want to do it, it's absolutely free. The creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast are right on your phone or from your computer, and Anchor will do all the hard work for you. It'll distribute your podcast so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other major platform. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership as well. If you are passionate or have a dream of making a podcast, it's everything you need to make a podcast in one spot. So go now and download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started and make your podcast today. Don't be afraid to take a shot like my friends and I on making your podcast dreams come true. Go download the Anchor app right now.
We're here. Hello and welcome to episode number 77 of the Underpowered podcast. Now, this is a gaming podcast where we battle our backlog, revealing what is worth your time, money, and energy. I'm Shelby Stokes, and here today, Mr. Casey Cool and I are holding it down.
Hello. Back
Hello.
again.
After a little bit of a hiatus, we are back, Casey.
Yeah, life sometimes, when you don't have COVID and everybody stops, people have expectations of you that you forget.
Dude, here's the deal. Life changed for a while, and now we're trying to get back to normal. It's a little bit difficult, but hey, we're going to get through it.
Yeah. So we're going to try our best to give you weekly content, if not bi-weekly. Molly. I have a puppy that is now a big dog that likes to chew on wood varnish. No.
Varnish? Man, your dog is a beast. I like it.
Kind of. It just sticks. Like, like when you buy your kid the really nice toy and all they do is play with the box?
Yes.
Millie is that, in that I could get her a really fancy dog toy and she just wants the stick.
Oh, get nice.
She likes bones a lot too. But she's just teething like crazy. She's only about 7 months. But besides that, we miss each other. We realized we kept each other sane during COVID. I miss talking video games with one of my best buds. So
yeah,
I'm glad to be here.
It is nice to be back. And, life gets crazy. We're going to kind of start and stop this thing over time. But, I've been missing the outlet. I think Casey has too.
Yeah.
And we've been doing some gaming here in the last 6 weeks. Did you get some time in?
So, I'm pretty much done with Bravely Default. By pretty much done, I have side quests and final boss left.
Really? You haven't finished Bravely Default? What's going on?
When you coach a track team for the last 5 weeks and you come home most days at 7 or 9 p.m., and then I get up with my dog early, so I was like, all right. But lately I've been getting up a little earlier and I've been putting in some time on it. I'm ready to give a full review on that game because I'm at the end. It's, as a JRPG, it's fine. And that's like the nicest thing I can say about it. Its style is very nice. I've said this before, and people have heard me talk about it many times. And I like the art. There's some interesting story beats. Here's what I miss, and I think it's really important to a JRPG, because now I think about how much I loved Dragon Quest last year. That was my number one game over our first year, and just JRPGs in general. What some of my favorite things are, and it's the open map. I like a world map that you can walk on. Octopath Traveler has this one continent that you're kind of going around, and there's a loop. And I didn't mind that as much because there's still aspects to explore. But I liked, do you remember in Final Fantasy VII, the airship, you get the ship or the boat?
I remember being cool. I remember being on an airship. I remember being real neat.
Yeah, I like that. I like seeing the map. I like being like, oh, there's my little avatar and I'm traveling these different places in the world. And I think that this doesn't have that. There's some parts you can explore, but it's like it is 4 zones. So you go to a winter zone, you go to a forest zone, there's a desert zone, and there's the tropes there. So it's just kind of repetitive in that sense. The world's not very exciting. And you're just like, okay, I'm not really invested in any of the characters. I don't really care about them. I like the job classes, and that's what kept me hooked. I was like, all right, let me see what this next cool job is.
Yeah.
But then you kind of I figured out the thief. So usually in role-playing games, thieves are kind of like a utility class. They're helpful. They can have attack. They made thief really, really, really strong.
Oh, really?
Has this move that is based off your speed stat, and then it does a time effect. So if it hits for 5,000, you're then hit with God Strike, and you're going to get hit with it again 3 turns later. So you stack it, so you can do about 20,000 damage, and then 3 turns later they're going to get another 20 to 30,000 damage
Oh,
and just die.
dang.
Yeah, I was wiping out bosses really fast with it. I was like, oh, that's all I got to do now.
So you've broken the game. Are you able to kind of execute
Kinda.
that on a lot of the different playing fields?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the boss is like, if the enemy has an ability to physical counter, I have to think differently.
Mm.
But most of them, there's a workaround and it still works. And you just there's this defensive ability where you can make a character take all the hits. So if they're getting countered, they can jump in front of it and take the hits, or you can put a shield up on them. So there's workarounds for it. So yes, basically, I'm cheesing. I'm cheesing the game real hard.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. Sometimes you just got to get your cheese on.
I don't. So this game just it's coming to Steam.
Ooh, is that good news?
It's good news for people who want to try it because it'll probably go on sale at a certain point.
How does it run on Switch?
It runs okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as well. I'm sure the new OLED, OLED. I can't believe I just spelled it out like a grandpa. OLED.
My old OELD.
Have you ever heard of this fancy OLED technology? It's been around for 30 years, Grandpa. It runs fine, and it's not pushing the system, but I think this game is maybe worth $25.
Is that
really,
right?
if you're going to invest the time.
Now,
Yeah.
you were really high on the first Bravely Default. Is this
Kind of?
kind of
The first Bravely Default has a world map,
okay?
and it was more exposed. I would recommend playing the first Bravely Default over this
Gotcha.
easily. I give this 3 hearts. Like, it's a try it if you like JRPGs and you like the first Bravely Default and you're looking for something like it. It's okay, or just replay that one. And I would recommend. I think like my thoughts about reviewing how I think of things. My favorite JRPG I've played on the Switch are Octopath Traveler and Dragon Quest XI, and if I compare it to those two, it does not hang.
Gotcha.
I'd rather replay those two. That was what it came down to. Because like, how often do you replay games? That was something I thought.
Never do I play
Never,
games.
ever?
I am just not a guy that likes to replay games. Like, I will replay a level and be like, oh yeah, this was fun, and then just not go back to it.
Like, what about Mario Party though? Those are different, kind of, right?
I mean, but even Mario Party, like, I wouldn't sit down and play Mario Party right now. Maybe when my
But
kids
if you had
are
a group
older.
of buddies, or Mario Kart, right? Like,
Yeah.
you would like it's a good hang game. Like, oh, what's a game we can all play together?
Yeah, but when you say like replay, that makes me think I'm going to sit down and like read a book, like reread a book. I wouldn't go and play a game that I've played before. That said, I might run through Zelda just to show my kiddos, like, hey, look how cool this was back in the day. But for me to just go and do it, probably
brings me to my other point. My son is going to be Link for Halloween because we started playing Breath of the Wild. He plays Link's Awakening, but him and I are running through with my wife, and my wife's like, why am I playing this game? And I'll come home, and she's like, I've been playing for 2 hours. I'm like, great. And
it's working. It's working.
But that game's so great still. Like, Breath of the Wild is it's timeless. It's timeless. Dude. I know it's not your favorite.
It's not. There's a personality that recently went back to it that I am kind of fond of that said that he went back and played it and really liked it. I don't know. Ben from Giant Bomb.
Yeah, he's back on Giant Bomb now, right?
Yeah, he is.
Is it like a part-time thing or a full-time thing? I haven't got to listen to it.
I haven't asked.
Maybe we'll get him on the show. I'll find out.
Maybe. No, but he had the same feelings I did, just not super high on Breath of the Wild, and he's gone back and found a little bit more appreciation for it. So maybe that would be one that I might go back and try again.
Yeah, I
probably wouldn't pick up a new file though. I'd probably just load in an old file.
Oh, so my son plays his file, but I have the master mode where it's harder, and I'm kind of doing that. I'm like, But the game my one friend says I need to keep trying, and I'm going to add to my backlog, and I hope I'm going to buy it for Christmas, is Skyrim. I know you always recommend Witcher 3, but he thinks if I love Breath of the Wild that I should try Skyrim, especially because I love D&D.
Yeah, I'm wondering how the remakes are. I'm guessing you're buying it on Switch, obviously.
Yeah, it's the like super edition, whatever they call it. They whatever they labeled it because they've sold the same game for 12 years.
Well, and
it still sells well.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, that's probably the best way to play that game because I remember it is probably good in like small chunks. You know what I mean? Like go and knock a dungeon out. It kind of has the Bethesda issue for me where I kind of burn out on games like that because it just gets to be too much and a little too samey. Gotcha. So I normally get like 75% of the way through the main story and then fall off of it. But Skyrim's great. Skyrim's like a classic. If you haven't played that one belongs on your backlog.
Yeah, I think it does. So that's it's in my sights. I tried to go back to Phoenix Wright and I can't do it. I'm just like, nah, I want to enjoy myself. So next time I see you, this is what I'm thinking of playing.
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at the NES library that they have, and we'll talk about the online libraries later in the news. There's a game called Chrysalis that is like a Zelda-like that was beloved, and there's also another one called Star Tropics on the NES, and I want to play through one of those.
Star Tropics. That one I recommend or
With the
recognize.
yo-yo?
I recognize
Yeah.
Star Tropics. Yeah. I can't say that I recognize Chrysalis at all, though.
Chrysalis was like, it would have gotten a lot of hype if Zelda didn't come first, I think. It's kind of like it's the follow-up. Like, oh, you're not as good as the original, but you're good.
You could also go back and
Yeah.
play ActRaiser, because that had a remake, right?
So that's what I was going to ask you. What are you playing? Are you playing the remaster right now? It's getting great reviews.
Is it? I bet it is, because it's a fabulous game. And I don't know how it aged, but no, I have not been playing a lot of that. I've been kind of an inch deep and a mile wide on what I've been playing. I'm still in Ghost of Tsushima. Picked that back up.
Really?
Kept diving into that. Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Dr. Z played through Halo Combat Evolved. So we got through the first campaign of Halo. And then last night we jumped into Back 4 Blood. So I'm kind of all over the place.
That's okay. I know people get mad. I've seen people get mad about this on the internet. Same company as Left 4 Dead, right?
I don't know if it's the same company, but it's basically Left 4 Dead. Let's be real.
It has the 4 in the middle.
It does. Yes, it does. It's very reminiscent of it. I'm enjoying it so far. I've only played it for about an hour and a half. Other games that I've been dipping into is the Marvel Avengers game. I just downloaded DBZ, Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Oh, did you? Dude, I have that. What'd you download that on?
Xbox.
Oh, okay. I have it on Switch. I bought it for $5.
Xbox. Yeah. So let's talk about that one. Are you liking it?
Okay. It's okay. Like I like it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think the company Arxis, I believe is who makes it.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do the next Street Fighter.
Is that right?
I just think that they do pixel art so well. They also do the Guilty Gear,
mm-hmm.
and people love how that looks.
Yeah, I mean, DBZ Fighters is gorgeous. Like, absolutely amazing. Like, I love watching the art style. I don't know how much I like playing the game. Let's be real.
Yeah. I like watching high-level people play it. I'll tell you that much.
Right.
Yeah, Arc System Works is who makes it.
And I'm super early in it, so maybe I'll gain an appreciation for it. But right now, it's like, just hit 2 buttons at the same time and do a super.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's cool enough.
Yeah. Who do you like to play with?
The campaign mode. So I think we've been Goku. Starts with Goku, right?
I think there's a lot of those. Yes.
Now, are you playing the main game? Like, are you digging the story at all?
No.
Okay.
No, I should. I probably should, because I like a fighter with a good story. And by the way, Turtle Rock Studio is Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood.
Okay. Yeah.
But Left 4 Dead has Valve and another company with it. But yeah, Turtle. It's the same game.
It's the same game. Yeah. And well, the thing that I'm liking for Back 4 Blood, and again, I'm very early on, but I like that each one of the guns has different rarity types, and then also has different attachments, which have their own rarity classes as well. So that makes the runs a little bit more dynamic, is what it feels like.
That one sprayed on me. Yeah, did it?
Is that a daddy soda? Is that what that is?
No, it's a buble.
It's a buble.
Daddy sodas are only for Fridays.
Only for Fridays.
Mm-hmm. They're only for closers.
And only for closers. Yeah. So more on Back 4 Blood later. DBZ Fighters, I'm going to stick with it. But if you're not into fighters, I really wouldn't recommend it.
Not even for $5?
I mean, if you're into fighting games, probably, but I have no interest in really playing this game. So I'll give it another college try, but if I can't get in within the next couple of stages, I don't think I can stick around.
So is it on Game Pass that you're playing?
It is, yep.
So, okay. Game Pass is the greatest thing. We need to figure out how to get Game Pass to sponsor this show.
Hey.
I'm going to hit them up. I'm going to just start sending clips.
Dude, we might need to get you an Xbox then.
I'm definitely down for a Series S.
Hey, Christmas is coming, baby. Christmas is coming.
I know. My son's getting a Switch for Christmas.
You should just get him an Xbox and see his reaction.
Nana got him a Switch, and I was like, "Did you get him the OLED?" She's like, "I got him whatever I could get." I was like, "Okay, good." He didn't get one better than mine, but he got like the newer, like the mid-tier model, which is fine, which is all he needs.
Yeah,
he's all hyped up for Pokemon Diamond Pearl remake and Pokemon Arceus. So I finally have someone to play Pokemon with me. I do not have to harass my friends
Yeah,
anymore.
it's just too bad that you had to
It's
create them from scratch.
hey man, he's my best bud. Like I'm totally cool with it. I'm glad. You know what? He gets me. I get him.
I'm going to be
We're
the
good.
shepherd of Pokemon no matter what.
Right,
Even
right.
if I have to make my own band of followers, I am in. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think that's what I would say is Dragon Ball Z Fighters. If you're into fighting games, this one's real pretty. If you like GBZ, maybe. I'm not into fighting games. That's probably going to be a pass
Have you
for me.
seen DBZ Kakarot? You ever
Nope.
seen that game? So
That's a show or is
it's a
that a game?
game, and it's basically a action RPG where you go through the whole Dragon Ball.
And do you have to go around and find all the Kakarot
You
seeds?
fly and do like the open world, and you get Dragon Balls. My brother-in-law was asking about it. He's like, "This looks pretty cool." Like he's always like, "Oh, weeb," whenever I watch anime, and he's like, "Dragon Ball is kind of cool." I was like, yeah." It was more stunned than anything. I was like, "Wait, how?" I go, "Are you? What do you?" He's like, "I've been watching on Twitch." You go, gotcha.
Oh, he's in.
Uh-huh.
He's in. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima. I'm gonna keep trying to figure that one out. I'm gonna try to get to
How
the end of
far are
that
you in
one.
that?
I know they said I'd have that done. I just got to the third island, and that game really suffers from bloat. It's too
Too
much
fat, a
game.
lot of fat.
Too fat, a lot of fat, and a lot of pips all over the map. I tried to start blowing through them pretty early. I knew that I was going to need to stick to the main quest, but even the main quest just seemed to be a little drawn out. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that one. The combat on that is you cannot button mash. Every once in a while, I'll try to get in and try to button mash and just get um, TKO'd right away. Never fun. But yeah, really liking
Do you kick
Ghosts.
down all the doors?
Do you kick down doors? Not a lot of door kicking.
I've always seen compilation where people open the doors, they're just side kicking them, and the doors fly open, and everyone just
They
goes
do
about
have
their
like the
business.
paper screens the guys stand behind and you like lunge through the door and take them out. Yeah,
Sick.
it's pretty baller. It's pretty baller. But it's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
traditional Japanese. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
very much a samurai
Memorize.
tale. And cool, but kind of slow, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an homage to samurai
Mhm.
film too.
Yeah.
Correct. Like there's a lot of like the stand far away shot where they're black silhouettes and they cross by, and then the body falls over. Those classic filled frame
Yeah.
shots. It's fully up my alley.
Well,
But it sounds like it's
it's
slow.
slow, but the art in it is absolutely gorgeous. Like,
Yeah, I've heard the photo mode's
oh
crazy
my
good.
gosh, it's amazing. The vistas and the different color palettes that they use. I mean, I've never been to this area of the world, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So maybe we need to go.
Maybe there's an online mode, right? They made a competitive mode. Like there's a 4-part.
There is, and I haven't really dove into
Okay,
that mainly because I'm enjoying this. Well, I'm trying to get through the end of the campaign, and I know that it's
gotcha.
there. I
Right.
see it's kind of popping off on different places in the map, but I'm just avoiding it to the best of my ability. Yeah. And there's a whole other island, I guess, in the DLC, which I will probably never see. Let's be real.
I feel you. I know. It's like, oh, DLC. It's weird when the game drops DLC. So I'll admit it. As much as I love Pokemon, I never completed all of the Pokemon DLCs anymore. I completed one of
What?
them, but my son will go on, and he went ham on it, and so I got to watch him do part of it. And I'm like, man, I kind of need to do that. That's on like my to do list over winter break
Dude, I
too.
think you're
But here's the thing: I can't do any of it because he had the Switch. So
dude, your
like,
son's gonna grow up and be like, Dad, you're such a noob. You haven't even finished the DLC content.
oh my god, yeah,
Well, I'm
he's
glad that
gonna
he
alpha
is
nerd me.
fully going to be indoctrinated into the Nintendo system with his first own
Already is.
console.
Already
Yeah,
is.
it's beautiful.
I know.
But let's move on to our speculation news network. It's been about 6 weeks since we've been gathered here, so we're just going to kind of pick up some big stories that we've seen
All
playing
right.
out that we want to catch. You want to go first?
Yeah, let's go through all the news from the last 6 weeks. Everyone, buckle up. No, actually, the biggest thing I really took from the news was recently everyone got really excited because there was a great Nintendo Direct, and on the Nintendo Direct. Okay, one thing we do have to talk about. Actually, I want to add. Chris Pratt is Mario.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. I was like, okay, like I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. I know people on the internet were miffed
I'm
about
not
it.
upset about it either. Like Chris Pratt has delivered for me.
Yeah, he's funny.
Guardians, I'm a
Yeah,
fan. I like him in
Parks and
Parks and
Rec,
Rec.
great. His new movie on
You know, if
Amazon.
he's gonna try to
Let's move
do
on.
a if he's gonna try to do a horrible Italian accent, though, that's probably not gonna
Nah.
bode well. And you know what? At first, I was a little bit miffed because the guy that's more voiced Mario wasn't announced as the lead. But also, if he did that voice for a full-on 2-hour movie, I don't know how well
Yeah,
that
and
would
he
work.
is in the movie, the original Mario voice. They announced that later that he's doing voices. And there's a bunch of movies that were supposed to come out, like the Rise of Gru, the early
Hmm.
Minions prequel movie, and those are all coming out. There's going to be a big run of animated movies, but Charlie Day is Luigi, perfect. The lady from Queen Gambit is Peach. I think that's solid. Jack Black is Bowser. I was like, all right, yeah. And then
Yeah,
Keegan Michael Key.
Keegan Michael Key. There you go. Yeah, and he was the dude that was in Toy Story 4 and was probably the highlight of that movie for
Oh
me.
yeah, him and his co-star from his
Yeah,
show. They were the bunny and the duck,
yeah.
right? In Toy Story 4?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the carnival animals. Yeah, they were probably one of
Yes.
the best parts of that movie, in my opinion. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I'll see it. It's by Illumination Studios, and they do a bunch
They
of
make good
good
stuff.
content. Yeah, so I'm excited to see it.
Also, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong is a little too spot on, to be honest with you. I was like, okay.
Yeah,
I know some people on the internet walked out of their rooms, were not pleased. I like
the
it. I'm
internet
here
was
for it.
not happy, but I don't really understand. The internet has like a vendetta with Nintendo. Like I saw the same kind of thing blow up when Sora was announced for Smash.
Yeah. Oh, there's another thing in the news, right? Like people, and that's the same direct, right? That direct rocked the internet for a little bit. Or no, that was a separate direct. Here's the other baller move about that Sora announcement. So Nickelodeon came out with their Smash like rival game that's been out. And the day it came out was the day Smash was like, hey, we're gonna do our last character announcement, by the way. And it's just the like, I see you're playing mafia moves. You're gonna one up them on their big release day. Be like, I still own this.
Yeah.
Like it.
Did you get into that game at all? Nickelodeon Superstars
No,
or whatever it's
I
called?
have. I
No.
mean, the Ninja Turtles are in it, so that kind of piques my interest. But I Smash all the way. Even Warner Brothers is supposedly coming out with this Smash Brothers like that,
Yeah, that kind of leaked today, right?
where you could have Rick and Morty and Gandalf and Batman and like whatever other properties are on
I mean,
Space
sure,
Jam.
why not? I mean, just throw them all in there.
LeBron James can all fight each other. Really?
Yeah, Nintendo's
Uh,
had some news. I think that one thing that piqued my interest with the Nintendo news cycle is, the Metroid Dread game that came out, and then also seeing that the modding community was able to run the game on a cracked, a virtual console of some
I didn't
kind
know that.
at a higher frame rate and a higher resolution
Ooh.
day one. So it kind of like it puts the gaming industry in a really weird place, right? Where you have the community that is building this game and allowing to unlock the frame rate, yet the producer of the game, or Nintendo specifically, is basically saying, hey, no, it's going to be gated to the spec requirements of this hardware that we've shipped you.
Yeah.
And I think it puts Nintendo in a really weird situation. I think that they need to come up with a way to allow people to buy that better quality product in some way, shape, or form. And Nintendo has bungled its internet packages before,
Right.
but this kind of scares me because if there's more product that comes out like this where you can go and steal it off the internet and it's better quality, the people that are into computers are going to be all over that.
Well, if it's better quality, but does it push the system too hard? That's one thing I'm curious about.
I mean, I would almost guarantee it. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's Nintendo's concern. They don't want to break their systems. And
Right.
two, we are seeing more and more and more often now developers go and hire these modding studios because they do such a good job.
Hmm.
So if Nintendo wants to stick with the time, they need to go snatch these guys up that are doing this to their game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that they basically need to come up with a way to allow individuals a way to buy into a product like that. Because right now, what you're doing is you're forcing people to go and steal it, right? There's no
Like
way
they
that
do
you
with
can.
Skyrim, the modding community can get
Exactly.
paid. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, they need to do something to get creative on that. But I thought that was an interesting story because it's not going to be the last time we see something like this.
No,
As the software continues to come out and the Switch is not getting any younger, they're going to be handcuffed by hardware, especially in the COVID age where it's hard to
right,
create
right.
product right now.
The other thing in the news
No.
too that I wanted to bring up with, again, Nintendo, their N64, and it goes back to that direct. They have an N64 online library now and a Sega Genesis one, which I was like, wow, okay, nice. And there's some cloud content, but it's really laggy. It's specifically Ocarina of Time. People were
Oh,
using the
really?
controller, and the lag inputs were pretty horrendous. There's some drop frames or some music issues, so they've kind of again just they Nintendoed this launch of online stuff, but I'm sure they'll right the ship and it'll be fine in time, and then no one will care. Per usual. Um, but uh, okay, like what do people expect, right? Like I'm not. Is it sad that I'm not surprised that it's not perfect?
I mean, I think my biggest issue is the price point on this, but I'm not even subscribed to Nintendo Online at all. So
Right. Isn't it $40 or $50 now for a
I
year?
think it's $50 a year. Yeah.
A year. Divide that by 12. That's less than $5.
I know, but I mean, is this content offering enough to entice you to pay that kind of money?
Mm, don't know.
Yeah, see, and like it's hard for me to speak to this because this is not the way I play games. Like I have tried to go back and play the rare replay. No thanks.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna be honest. I N64 has maybe 5 or 6 games that I really love. That's it. There's more on the SNES and NES that I have interest in playing than that.
And you didn't even play Ocarina of Time, so now you can add that on
I
this.
I did on the 3DS,
Right.
which is it's easily its best version, I would say, to go play it on. And I would rather actually, what I was hoping they had instead of the N64 was Game Boy Advance.
Oh, that would be a good
Just
switch.
put that library up there.
Yeah.
That's or the DS.
Mhm.
Once they do a DS library, take my money. Here you go.
And you would think that would be possible with the touchscreen capabilities, right?
Yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, they come out with some fancy stylist and say, "Hey, buy this code, plug it in, you'll be good to go."
pretty soon, I bet you the next iteration of the Switch is there's going to be a console, and then the controller is going to have a touchpad in the middle, like a touchscreen, like the
Yeah.
DS, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope to see them come out with a new Switch sometime soon, but I don't think it's in the cards right now.
2 years.
2 years?
2 year and a half would be my earliest, I would bet.
So you think they'll start talking about it next Christmas probably? Do a leak, or
And then
not
they
a
would
leak,
come out
but
that
an
next
announcement?
fall. Yep.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
pick.
I could see that happening. I mean, hopefully by that time supply chain has returned to normal, because right now there's supply chain issues
Yeah.
everywhere
I guess that's the
in
other news,
every
right?
industry.
Yeah, get your Christmas shopping done now. So this is something I want to talk about behind baseball for us. I think one of our episodes in December should be like, hey, hot items to buy, or maybe right before Thanksgiving for people for shopping. We want to give like parents that are looking for gifts for their kid or their husband or brother or wife that play video games. We're going to give you guys a look at these, shop here, and deals episode.
There we go. I like that.
Yeah, right.
I think I think at that point, if you can't get your hands on goods, it might turn into here's a gift you can make for your child.
Right. Well, and we could, but there's things we can suggest that are old games because we know some good old games too.
Yeah, some oldies but goodies. Very
Mhm,
good.
mhm.
Very good. So our final segment of the day is kind of just chopping it up. What
Yeah.
we've been up to, what's going on.
We usually do what you doing, what you watching, right? And
Right.
then I said, how about we just do what you doing? And he's like, yeah, that's good. So we took this 5-week sabbatical because of life, and we can talk about that. But what have you done in the last 5 weeks outside of gaming?
Oh boy, work's been
Oh boy.
pretty crazy. Oh boy, work's been crazy. There's been some good Marvel content that's come out. Have enjoyed that.
Has it really been that good? The
Um,
what ifs? Because I've seen they're kind of hit or miss.
I would agree. I would say what ifs. I mean, animated. I've said it here before. Not crazy about animated stuff. I thought there were some good episodes, some kind of not so great episodes. The end of the What If series, that last episode, is worth the wait, I think. But I don't need a second season of What If. That's where I
Right.
land on that. All that to
think
say, though, I did get 2 boxes of the limited edition Lego What If boxes.
Oh, they made Lego what if boxes? Dude, I wanted the Lego Office boxes. My wife said she saw those at Target the other night. I'm like, why did you not get one?
Wait,
What
The
have you done?
Office, like Steve Carell's The Office?
Mm-hmm.
What?
They have the whole office. You can get Creed, Pam, Jim. They're all little Lego guys and
Oh,
gals.
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool. That's really cool. But no, in regards to Marvel, I thought Shang-Chi
Oh
was
yeah,
one of the better movies that I had seen from Marvel. I think it's up there for me as one of the
that's
better
gonna be
movies.
on Disney Plus here pretty soon, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's upper tier in my opinion.
It's a superhero martial art flick, so I'm like, check. I will be watching this.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and I really thought it wasn't super heavy-handed. Like some of those Marvel movies can come out and be like, "Okay, we get it," but
Captain Marvel.
I didn't feel it with this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Widow is obviously on streaming.
Is that worth my time?
I would say no.
Oh,
I
you
would
saw that in
s
theaters too.
I did, and I really enjoyed it, but after rewatching it, somebody pointed out to me some very glaring issues that I can't unsee. They
Uh,
mentioned the accents being pretty horrible, and that movie has some serious
what
it
do you
doesn't know
mean?
what it is.
You talk to me like this. This is
Yes.
my Russian accent,
That is
right?
exactly right.
Yes, it's like that. I know.
Exactly,
I know. You
exactly.
listen. I'm
Yeah,
sure actually mine's probably better there, but
yeah, for
I'm
sure.
classically trained.
What else is going on in life? My kids are grown up. They're both in full-time school, so I can return to
What?
some sort of a normal schedule, which
Yeah.
is a blessing and a curse all at the same
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah. It's sad
Um,
watching them grow up, but it's happy too.
it is. Well, it's nice for them to gain some independence, right?
For sure.
So my oldest is now in kindergarten, and within the first 2 months of her being in kindergarten, she's already counting to like 30, which is
That's great.
cool. And knows the alphabet. We've been trying to get her to learn the alphabet for years, and it finally stuck within four
Nice.
weeks of school. So it's funny how it all comes together.
Rad.
Yeah, yeah. What about you?
Well, like I said, I didn't play a lot of video games for 5 weeks. I'm an educator, and I took on a coaching role because of COVID and everything. We're giving kids back into sports. It's been a horrible year. We have the money now, and so our sixth and seventh graders got to go to the junior high to do track. It's very rewarding. It was really cool. I also took on the position I will be doing football in the spring, which is actually my like number one want. I
Oh,
also coach my
nice.
son in flag football, so my son Asher got really into football. I'm sure my daughter goes to full time preschool now, and
Whoa.
she's the fiery spirit, and I was like really concerned because we had conferences, and we're like, okay, how is she? Like, she's our nicest kid. We love her. She does everything we ask. We're like, our daughter? Like, it was more of like, are you? And I was like, okay, that's great. But the other thing, and we kind of got into it over COVID, was Dungeons and Dragons. I know you
Mhm.
tried it, and you seem to you're cool with it. We were trying to do this whole recording thing, and I learned a lot from our sessions on like the DM can be a character, but he can't be a main character.
Mm,
I need to just move the story, and people don't care about the story; they care about the story of their character. Right, their
mm,
character has to be they're invested in that. I learned a lot. I bought a bunch of books, like one's about like an RPG master's guide for like being a dungeon master or writing an RPG or how to run a DM. Basically, it's a DM like book from a podcaster that's very successful that does that.
yeah.
I sent to my friend because on my birthday we did like a one shot, and my friends had a horrible time. Partly because maybe some of them had too many daddy sodas, and it was really that because the people that were paying attention were like, and they were anyway. We set some guidelines. Okay, cameras on, headphones on. We're all involved, and then I took in every feedback. Right, like what can I do better? And the best compliment I got our last session. The next day, people were like, "Hey, do you guys want to try to play again tonight? Like, can we keep?" Because they knew I had more. I would love to run it back, guys, but my wife, I need to spend time with my family. So we're gonna do it twice a month. I get messages all the time. I made a because I got one of the D&D hand guides too, like the books, like one of their newest books. So I'm just deep into Dungeons and Dragon lore.
Dude,
There's a new book with a new Ranger's my favorite job class.
Ranger.
Yeah, I just like Rangers, like Bone Arrow. And there's this new Ranger subclass where they get a pet dragon
Hmm.
and they become a dragon kin. They can do the breath. They don't. It's just this really cool subclass that came out that I'm hoping. My big fear is, and I've seen DMs talk about this. You're the now forever DM. I kind of want to be able to play, like I don't want to have to do everything, but that's cool. I like being the DM. I have plans, big plans for this one. My friends have known I become obsessed because he's like, well, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm writing in a notebook. So I have a notebook going that's like about 15 pages right now of notes, character notes, where I want the story to
Oh my
go.
gosh, you are deep. You're real
Yeah,
deep. You got your
yeah,
own little dragon dungeon going on, man.
yeah. Well, it's a really fun like writing
Mhm.
exercise, and it's really creative because I'm telling this story through this game, but I'm just having the pieces, and they kind of fill in the dialogue. and how their characters act. And it's, it's people from all different time periods of my life. And it's great. It brings me so much joy. Like, we're playing next Friday and we're beyond, like, everyone's jonesing for it, right?
Oh
So
wow, that's
it's the
cool.
best feeling.
Yeah,
It's the best feeling to have a group where everyone's invested. You can obviously come and play one time. I would love for you to come and we can make you a really BA character.
I like it. I like it. I
Yeah.
mean, hey, I'll try anything once, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's worth a shot. Why not?
Or that Marvel one that comes out in the
Do
future.
Marvel, I mean, Aang, the Airbender ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one sounds cool too. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say never for sure. The other one was just really
Well,
involved.
why?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And like with the podcast, and there are so many people. I think I've been listening to this one podcast called Not Another D&D Podcast, and I
Mhm.
love them. It's a guy named Caldwell Tanner who is an art director on Big City Green, which is a show on Disney. That's
Yep.
great. My son loves Big City Green. He also, but they're all from College Humor.
Mhm.
And it's a guy, Brian Murphy, and his partner. Can't think of her name right now. Oh my God, she's Moonshine on the podcast, and she's great. And then Jake, from Jake and Amir, from College Humor. He is Hard One Surefoot, and he grew up in the dwarfenage. It's hilarious, and I have listened to 54 episodes in the last 3 weeks on
Oh,
this.
jeez, that's
Yeah, I'm
awesome.
like, oh, I'd rather. That's the other thing. I'm just listening to a lot of D&D. It's in my brain at all times. And then fantasy football. I'm 6-1. This was the best year I've ever had in fantasy
6 and
football.
1. Do you get like a
hmm
trophy or a hat,
We
or
do
what do
have
you
a
get?
we have a thing called the mini Vinny
Do you
that's
get
been
an
passed
actual
around.
pigskin? Does somebody deliver you a pigskin?
No, it's a trophy that has everyone's name engraved on it. That's won it for the last 10 years. We moved to the other side of the trophy.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And these are guys I've known since I was 12.
Jeez.
Yeah. And this year we added, because we're adults, we all put $100. There's 14 of us. So the
Mhm.
winner gets an $800 pot. And I'm hoping like this is my year. I'm like,
This is the one.
my team name is Golden Receiver. And it's a picture of Air Bud with the football gear on because of Millie. So
So do you have like a breakout player that's carrying the team?
we have some weird rules. We do a thing called a keeper. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
A keeper is you pick someone, you can keep them on the team, but from the previous year,
Gotcha.
and you get them at that round, and then the next year they drop around, right? My thing was I picked Lamar Jackson up 2 years ago when he had his like MVP run in the 8th round, so I have him in like the 7th, and so he's my QB. I picked a
Nice.
couple good running backs. I made some really good trades. I went real mathematician this year on it because I've just been losing for like 6 or 7 years. I came into the league late because they're like, yeah, let's get this set up. And I finally just looked at it as a math teacher. I made spreadsheets and
Oh,
then I
gee.
listened to some podcasts too. And I said, I just want I want 12 points from every player, right? I don't need a guy that is the best, but I want to know whose average is 12.
Mhm.
Consistency. The other thing, I quit listening to everybody else's advice and just did what I wanted this year. And look what happens, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, are your competitors coaching you? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, they're manipulating me.
Oh,
That would be the
gotcha.
better word. Oh, they're horrible. I love these guys, but they're ruthless.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I know the football
Yeah.
season is in full swing. It's nice to see the fields are back open.
Yeah.
We actually went to one of the preseason games up at the Hawks Nest. Yeah,
Oh, fun. Yeah, I
and
saw
it
that.
was a good time. So I'm excited football's back.
Yeah, things are starting to feel somewhat normal again. I'm glad we got to talk, man. I miss you. I love you.
Yeah, I miss you too, man. It's been a good
Yeah.
cast, and we'll do it again real
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, and just keep in mind, well, you know what to follow. Shelby will tell you. We'll be a little more active, and if you have any games you want us to play or suggest, let us know,
Ooh, I like that.
and we can put them on our backlog. Like I'm ready to try Skyrim.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want any more of us, as Casey mentioned, you can follow us on our social channels in the attached description. We're also on Discord. We've been a little light recently, but come start a conversation. Why not?
Bring it back.
And also feel free to leave us a review, 5 stars, if you would be so kind. That is a wrap for this week. We are out.
Player games. Chill.